It is Tuesday the 3rd of February, the month has just started and I'm super pumped for the month to develop, for the progress that I'm envisioning for myself for February, so yeah, I'm really pumped about that.
Hey there, I'm Katerina. I put my corporate career on hold and joined an art academy at 30, even though I've never drawn before. Here I share my artistic journey, the real challenges, breakthroughs and lessons I learned along the way. Welcome to my channel.
If you've seen my last video, you know that my goals for this month are to catch up with everything that I left behind during the last month. So mainly my artistic progress, let's say, which is my number one priority for this year. Actually, I set myself a goal of developing 6 works by June, and right now I'm a bit lagging behind this objective. And since I'm going to the academy in the afternoons and I'm staying at home in the mornings, my objective for February and for the months to come is to work on something at home and on something else at the academy, so on 2 works of art at the same time. The objective for this week, let's say, is to show my sketches to the artistic director of the academy, so to decide with which work I'm gonna start to work at the academy. While regarding the work I'm gonna paint at home, it is gonna be a still life with lemons and one line. I've already taken pictures of it, so I'm quite excited to start with that. I don't need to ask for approval, let's say, for that. I don't even need to ask for approval for anything else, but you know, since I'm learning, I'm glad to have a feedback. I'm glad to confront myself and, you know, discuss a little bit about my ideas with someone who's way more expert than me. So I'm quite excited to know what the teachers, what the artistic director in particular is gonna think about my work. So let's see how it goes. Wish me a good luck for this month. I'm super pumped. Let's see how it goes.
È vero, forse è meglio vicino alla vicino. Dai.
Yeah.
Ci sta.
Yeah, better here. It is Friday the 6th of February and just a little bit of reflections about this week. So first of all, it was my birthday week, so wish me happy birthday if you want. But it was an interesting week, a bit of a slow week, I would say. So first of all, on Monday I celebrated at the academy a little bit, but it was a little bit of a slow week, but full of learnings, I would say, because I didn't have a drawing to work on, and this week and next week is a week without the model. So I didn't have something to work on necessarily, but I started planning my personal project. Planning because I realized that I need a lot of materials for my personal project, starting from the canvas. And when I initially went to the art tool store at the beginning of the week, I realized how many different types of canvas there were. I was actually blown away. So I went out of the store without buying anything, and the day after I talked with the teachers a little bit about what could be the best thing for my personal project, let's say. So I had to go back another time to the art tool store, and this time I purchased a linen canvas, which is slightly more expensive than cotton, but at the same time it's got good materials, so let's see how that goes. Moreover, I haven't tried linen canvas yet, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I bought 2 meters of it, so it should be enough for the first project that I discussed with the art director, I'm gonna tell you in a second, and also the lemon project, and for sure something else. So I'm gonna try that for my first couple 3 works. Moreover, I also talked with the teachers about colors because, you know, it might sound obvious, but for example, for my lemons project, I didn't have the materials that I needed, basically because to paint lemons, I don't have the appropriate yellow to paint them, especially because I've painted bodies so far. So I've got Naples yellow, I've got yellow ochre, but I don't have a cadmium yellow or a lemon yellow. So I needed to go and buy that as well. Moreover, I had the feedback with the artistic director around my project, the works that I'm gonna develop at the Academy at least. The feedback went very well. He was super insightful on the feedback that he gave me, and I can officially start to work on the first piece. The first piece is gonna be double self-portrait of myself. I actually got the inspiration from the last time I went to Rome, and I went to visit Palazzo Barberini, and in that occasion there was the exposition of this single painting by Giorgione, which is called Double Portrait actually, and it's the portrait of we don't know who, probably two friends. In that portrait I've seen one dreamy character, the other one judging the other, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna reinterpret it and I'm gonna place myself instead of the two different characters. So it's gonna be me instead of both the characters, and I will have in my hand a tarot. So basically this project is all around my two different aspects of life, let's say, everything that I lived through right now. I mean, if you followed my vlogs, maybe you know a little bit, but it's like the more corporate me that has always followed the society's expectations, the more strict part of my personality, and that personality is judging the other one, so my dreamy one, the one who in her 30s is trying to pursue a new life, a more unstable life, a life made of art. And she's got in her hand a tarot of the Fool. The Fool represents that character who follows its instincts, going against, you know, all expectations or everything that might sound normal. Although I'm not that much into tarots, I really thought about that as something very symbolical that I really wanted to put into it. So that is gonna be the first project that I'm gonna work on at the Academy. I'm super pumped to work on it. And actually, when I was planning it, I was like, oh, okay, next week I'm gonna take the picture of it. And then I was like, why not taking it this week? So yesterday, on Thursday, we took the pictures. The teacher helped me a lot. So we created a little set at the Academy, and I took both the pictures for both the characters. And I was super excited. Everyone was super helpful. Although when I arrived home in the evening, I realized that there were some things that weren't extremely right compared to what I was thinking for my reference. So I think I'm gonna take the reference pictures again on Monday. I've already messaged to the teachers and they're okay with helping me again. And that's really nice, very much appreciated. But yeah, I'm very pumped to work on it. Finally, I can say I'm ready to start, and let's see what happens next week. Guys, I just got home and today we had the second round of reference pictures, and I was so happy because all my team was so briefed, and my team, it's my friends. I briefed them all on everything that I wanted, and I'm gonna see the pictures now, but I already know they're gonna be perfect because they were amazing. That's how perfect the reference picture is. Look at this. Look at this. So it is Tuesday the 10th of February and it's 9:45 a.m. Yesterday I started the lemons. So this is the print that I've done. I've done it on Procreate. So first I've taken the picture of the lemons, and then I edited the background on Procreate. I edited some things here and here, and on top, I don't know if you can see, I printed it and I drew a grid that I will use here in this drawing. So I started doing the drawing as well, and the objective of this week is to finish a well-made drawing that I will be able to transfer, and next week I really want to start printing it. So I've just started working on it yesterday and I will keep on doing it now. So I will show you a little bit of the process. It is the afternoon and today I'm not going to the academy because I need to work on my reference pictures, so from tomorrow when I go to the academy I can start drawing it. So I'm gonna show you how I do it. I just came back from a museum. Today was a wonderful day in Milan and we went to see the Macchiaioli exhibition in Palazzo Reale. Macchiaioli are kind of the impressionists, let's say, the Italian impressionists. I wasn't blown away by the exhibition. I already knew, I went knowing that I wouldn't have been blown away, but I think it's still important to go to understand the periods that we are kind of studying and looking at. And you know, I managed to learn a few new things, but I still remain convinced that Macchiaioli and all that period of the Italian painter is not my favorite. Apart from maybe some exponents, it was interesting to learn a little bit more about it. Would I go again? No. So it wasn't my favorite, but we made it and now I'm back to the lemons. Here's the progress. Just worked on a few leaves and the background, but I'm gonna work more. So the past week has been extremely exciting. It was less about the result, I would say, but more about the process, the preparation, and so on. I'm a bit slightly behind on my timeline, on the timeline that I thought for this week, because I thought that I would have finished the drawing of the lemons and I still haven't gone so far with that. And I also thought that I would have started to draw in a more precise and defined way my drawing of the double portrait, which I wasn't at that stage yet. So I would say that hasn't matched the goals that I set myself, but I'm still extremely excited for what I did this week because I felt like I did so many things. I was always extremely productive that honestly, I couldn't have gone at a faster pace, so probably the deadlines that I set myself at the beginning were a bit ambitious and challenging. So I'm very proud, I'm very excited, I'm in my momentum, let's say. Let's see how next week goes. I'm, again, extremely excited. For next week, I hope to be able to finish both the drawings, so to be able to start the painting in 2 weeks. So at the end, I don't know if I'm actually gonna finish to paint something in February, but let's see. I'm very happy about how things are going. So the third week of February has finished right now, and how do you feel about that? So first of all, it was a week with the model, and what I decided is that whenever there is the model, I will keep drawing the model, obviously, so I will not only focus on my personal project, and that's because obviously I still consider myself at the beginning of my journey, although we are almost at the end of my first year at the academy, but I feel it's very, very important for me to keep drawing from life, and that's why every time there's going to be a model, I'm going to be focusing on the model, and I'm going to be working on my project in the break. So I really focused on the drawing of the model. I hope to finish the model drawing by this week, but I feel I need one more session, so I will finish it by next Monday, and then I will start painting the Grisaille. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about how the drawing is coming out. I'm happy about the structure. For the first time, I'm doing a big drawing. I'm happy about it. I can see the progress. I can see that I'm still progressing every time I draw the model, and that's very positive, I feel. About the project, I hoped it went slightly quicker. I had a few things to do this week in the evening, so I couldn't stay as much during the break to work on it, so it's going slower than I thought. Also with the lemons, it's going slower than I thought because I still haven't finished the drawing, which I hoped to have finished by this week. Not super good, so I'm definitely not gonna finish one of the paintings by this month. Probably gonna be more by the next month, I hope, but this is the target right now. So I'm reconsidering all my timelines that I set at the beginning. That's worrying me a bit because I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to deliver six works by June. It's a deadline set by me, of course, but it's something that I really wanted, so let's see how that goes. Let's see how that progresses. I'm happy about how the personal project is going though. Like, I'm very much putting an effort in the drawing phase. I'm learning a lot of things, and also I'm seeing a friend of mine who's also working on her personal project. She's slightly further in the process than me, and I'm still making mistakes and learning from mistakes, and I'm seeing the steps that she's taking, and I'm also learning by her steps, so that's very helpful. I'm very grateful about that, so that's gonna help in the future for sure. So everything is going well. Mood wise, I'm really excited about everything, although I'm not respecting the deadlines I initially set, but it's okay. It's all learning process for me, and that's what counts. So yeah, that's how it is. It was a very good week. I was very happy with this week. I'm super excited about the upcoming week because I'm actually gonna start painting the model, at least. Not sure I'm gonna start painting on my projects yet, but I'm gonna start the Grisaille on the model. So that's gonna help me refresh my painting memory, and it's gonna be something that will really help for my project. So yeah, I'm super excited for the upcoming week. New day, new week. Today it's the second week with the model, and I will try to finish the drawing today. So to start the Grisaille, I don't know if I will go on with color, but I would love to finish the Grisaille though. Also I want to go on with the project of the double portrait, and I really want to finish the drawing of the lemons by this week. So let's see how it goes. I'm super pumped. It's super sunny in Milan, as you might see from the light here in my studio. Let's go!
So Kate, obviously being the genius she is, okay,
Yes.
so I completely forgot, but it's actually a 1-year anniversary of us being at the academy. We met right there.
Right there.
And now we are celebrating 1-year anniversary.
We need to blow this together, make a wish because it's our academy birthday.
to more artist years. Yay! Yay! I love this. You're genius.
I'm so ashamed to show this Grisaille. It went so bad. I haven't painted for 2 months and now I can really see it. Plus I put some red pigment to transfer the image, which I didn't fixate with a fixative, so it influenced the whole image. And look at those eyes, like she literally looks like a demon. In the final part of the week, I finally managed to finish my preparatory drawing for the painting. I'm so happy.
I can still feel there is something to fix, maybe something in the eyes, and of course I need to add the tarot still, but I really like how it came out, and I really like that reflection in the window. It's like a third figure, and I wasn't planning it at the beginning, but it was in the picture and I loved it, absolutely loved it. This is the progress of the lemons. It's going slower than I thought, but I'm also using graphite and I'm trying to do a more refined rendering, so that's why I hope to be finished soon with this.
So the last week of the month is over. How can I describe this week? So it had higher and lower notes, let's say. One thing that I really loved was my art birthday. Okay, it's something that I invented because exactly 1 year ago I was starting the academy, and when I look back at all my progress and all my journey, it's just incredible. I'm so grateful, and I just felt like celebrating it, and I celebrated it with my friend from the academy as well. She started on my same exact day, and also for her it was her art birthday, so it was amazing celebrating something together, and such an important thing for me as well. Something else that I feel like celebrating is finishing my double portrait preparatory drawing. Oh my god, finally, I can't believe. I feel like I'm prepared to paint now. I'm so prepared to paint and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm gonna ask feedback to my teacher on Tuesday to understand if everything's okay and if I'm ready to go on with the painting. Then one last thing about this week, one last wonderful thing about this week was the exhibition of Alessandra Seashoulder that we went to with my friends. It was incredible. It inspired me so much. I think I'm gonna go back to the gallery to see it again. Everything was incredible really. Like I was so inspired, and I hope you enjoyed the videos that I put about it. Check the painter because he's amazing. I'm so glad that I went to that exhibition. Yeah, for sure I'm gonna go again. On the lower note, this week we had the model, as you know, and I finished drawing. The drawing went well. However, the Grisaille went so bad, so bad. It's actually been 2 months I haven't painted, and it felt like I forgot everything about how to paint a Grisaille. So it was a bit frustrating. It was a big punch to my self-esteem, let's say. But thanks God that I tried this Grisaille on an academic drawing instead of my double portrait. I warmed up my hand with that drawing, and now I'm ready to start painting the Grisaille of my double portrait. So hopefully it's been useful for that reason, and I'm actually excited to start and paint my double portrait. Reflections on the month. I'm really happy I managed to set a routine because I really feel that compared to January, I managed to have a routine at home in the morning. I managed to either edit my content or to draw lemons that I'm still working on, and instead in the afternoons I have been quite productive at the academy. So of course the first few weeks were more preparatory for my project, but then we had the model, so my personal project slowed down a little bit, and I still need to figure out how to manage my time well when the model is there. I guess I need to learn something from these weeks, but I think I was a bit distracted as well because when I finished the model of the drawing, I always had something to do in the evening, so I couldn't stay too much during the break to draw and so on, so I didn't spend too much time. So this means that probably I need to be more self-disciplined with everything that I'm planning for the weeks with the model, so to be able to focus on my project as well. Then regarding my personal project, actually, if you remember, I was planning on finishing at least one painting by this month. Obviously that's not the case. I need to review all my timelines, but you know, I don't want to rush it because the process that I'm following right now is the process that we have been taught at the academy, and I really want to follow it from the beginning until the end. I want to be confident with that method, and only once I'm confident with that, I can decide which steps I can skip, I can change, I can make more efficient, and so on. So I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually okay with reviewing my timelines and so on. Again, that's all learning for me. It's fine. It's totally fine. now my objectives for March instead. In March, I definitely want to be done with these lemons because I'm already done with my double portrait, so I want to be done with the drawing of these lemons too. And I want to be over with both the grisailles of my personal projects, so with my double portrait and with the lemons as well. I really hope I can start painting with color on both of them. As you can see, my objectives are less ambitious at the moment, so I'm not expecting to be over with the paintings. It would be amazing, but I'm understanding that I need to recalibrate everything that I set for myself for now, and it's okay. And then during the weeks of the model, I need to be more focused and I need to still manage to work on my personal projects, but at the same time to do a good grisaille of the model as well. So this month is all gonna be about grisailles and hopefully good grisailles. That's it. So let's see what I managed to do. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. I really hope it was interesting, you know, coming with me into my routines, into my thoughts, into my unrealistic deadlines that are becoming more realistic though, I hope. Let me know if you enjoyed it. As you see, I'm experimenting with my formats. I will keep a similar format for March. I will just remember to record more. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment. And I really hope I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye!